Pleasant good morning to everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Carlos Brown Show. July 27th. Coming up on today's Carlos Brown Show, the guest menu looks like this. We'll be visited by Coach Darrell Asberry. Rob J is scheduled to join us. Also, Courtney Lyles, Southern University football player, offensive lineman who has transferred into Southern University, and we will visit with him. That's the guest menu for July 27th, 2024. Here's what's trending, and then we'll get to the panel. The NCAA expected to approve massive changes for baseball, basketball, and football. We're going to put A.D. Willa Brown on the spot right away. What does that mean? How much does it cost? Is it something viable for our HBCUs? And then the NBA rejects WBD TNT offer and goes with Amazon. Now there's a lawsuit in federal court about this situation. Will Charles Barkley and his cohorts, will they appear somewhere else? It'll be interesting to see. Now we'll bring in our panel, and they shall join us very shortly. There's Charles Edmond, A.D. Willa Brown, and Coach Vann Pettaway. But before we get into discussion for today, just want to send out thoughts and prayers to the family of Stephen Harris IV, criminal justice major, and also a member of the Southern University Human Jukebox. He went missing. He was found tragically. So our hearts and prayers go out to that family. Another situation that's, you just don't understand. Senseless. And life is so precious for him to lose his life at such a young age. Again, our thoughts and prayers go out to the family of Stephen Harris. Coach Pettaway, good morning. How are you doing, sir?
Good. I'm doing fine, Carlos. I'm just happy to be here, man.
A.D. Willa Brown, who's going to be on the spot very shortly. But go ahead, A.D.
A familiar spot, I might add.
Doing okay?
Oh, yeah, no doubt, always.
And Charles Edmond, I see a bowling pin. I see a bowling ball. What's going on, Charles?
Good morning, panel. Good morning, everybody. I'm coming to you from Clinton, Mississippi, at Indian Lanes Bowling Center. And for those who might not know, bowling is kind of a hobby and a pastime of mine. And there's a bowling tournament here at 2:00. So I'm here in a room where a lot of people who bowl here, they store their bowling balls and equipment. So therefore, you see the bowling pin and bowling ball. I've got my own bowling balls, and we got a big tournament coming up here at 2:00, and hopefully I get something done. Good morning.
Well, good morning. Charles, is the lanes, are they wooden lanes? Synthetic? Is the conditions oily? What 16-pound bowling ball I suspect that you throw?
Yes. The first question is synthetic. Now, this is kind of an older bowling center. They just revamped the lanes here within the last 3 months to where it's now synthetic. That's kind of the standard now in bowling. Some of the older bowling alleys still use the wood, but not as much anymore. I have 16-pound bowling balls. I have 5 balls for different conditions, and the conditions are going to change as you bowl in these tournaments. The lanes dry up a little bit. You got a ball for that. You got a ball for oily lanes. You got a ball for medium conditions. So, I've been bowling off and on since I was 9 years old. My mother introduced me to the game, and I bowled in a few tournaments here and there, including one down in Baton Rouge where you are, where I stunk it up a little bit, but here we are. We got a big. I stunk. It was a waste of money, waste of gas, waste of food, waste of a hotel room, waste of everything. I completely stunk it up. But here, 30 minutes from where I live, and it's a scratch tournament. There are two types of tournaments. You got a scratch tournament where it's pins versus pins, and then you have a handicap tournament. There's more handicap than scratch. This is an occasional scratch tournament, so we'll see what happens, folks. I'm looking forward to seeing how this thing turns out.
That's all right. That's all right.
Well, what you're talking about, I understand because I used to work in the bowling industry back in the 80s, so it's very competitive, and we wish you the best, Charles. Now, don't come back and say you didn't have one of your best games.
Oh, no, sir. No, sir. I'm from the Vann, Pettaway, and Wheeler Brown school of things. No excuses.
No excuse.
No
I know
excuses.
that's right.
I bowl here. The bowling alley in Vicksburg where I live closed down a year or so ago. So the closest bowling alley is here. So I bowl in a fall league here and summer leagues here. So I'm kind of familiar with the house. It's going to be a different condition because it's a tournament. There's money involved. So you got good bowlers coming in here. You don't want it to be easy. So, but still, no excuses. And if I stink, I stink. I'll just come out and say it next week. I'll come out and say it. But hopefully we'll get something done. We'll see.
You got 5 balls. You got 5 balls, Charles. You can't go wrong, baby.
Yeah, he's serious about it. And that's a serious fellow there now. He got all this equipment. That's a serious
easier
guy.
said than done, Wheeler Brown. Easier said than done.
Well, Charles, don't do like I did one time in an employee bowling tournament. I'm brutally honest. We only needed 13 pins in team competition to win. I threw a gutter ball. The pressure got to me. Oh, okay. A gutter ball the first time. The second one, a gutter ball again. And was the pressure. I had about a 141 bowling average. So, I mean, that's not great, but it was consistent. But I let the pressure get to me, and one of the team members would just whisper in my ear, "It's no pressure, man. You got it, Carlos. You can get it done." And 2 gutter balls, I've never lived that down. And I'm in the upper 50 category now. But anyway, that just brought back memories.
Well, Carlos, I got a better one for you. All right, so when I was a kid, one of the first fights or tussles I got into as a kid was at the bowling alley. So it was me and a guy by the name of Thurlester. I won't call his last name. His name was Thurlester. And at the time when I was bowling, I was about maybe 6'1" or 6'2". Thurlester was like 4'9". 4'10". Seriously, he wasn't 5 feet tall. I'm serious. That's a true story. So the last week of the season, we were bowling for the title, and I stunk. I was nervous, whatever. I stunk. I bowled really, really bad. And so I was crying. Lester, the captain, was crying. So I went in the bathroom to kind of get myself together. Lester came in there and he was still crying. And he looked up at me and said, "Man, what happened to you out there today?" I said, "Man, I just didn't get it done." And we started tussling in the damn bathroom. So, true story. Yes, true story. So all the commotion, all the bumping going on in the bathroom, somebody went out and my mother came in and his mother came in and they had to break us up. Now, like I said, he was like 4'9", 4'10", and I was like 6'2". Now you talk about a weird scene.
Oh, wow.
That's a true story, true. And so I'm with you, Carlos. I mean, I stunk. I mean, all we had to do, I think, was win one game. We lost them all, and I just bowled horrible. And he tried to jack me up in the doggone bathroom of the bowling alley. But I handled my own. But that's one of the first tussles and fights I got into as a kid, right at the bowling alley.
Wow. It seems like in both cases, the pressure just kind of got
absolutely. No doubt about it. No doubt.
On that note, trending topic number 1, NCAA expected to approve massive change for baseball, basketball, and football. AD Wheeler Brown, you're from the sports administrative side. That's going to be tough, right? For our schools. to be able to adjust to this new change?
It's going to be real tough, Carlos. There's no doubt about that. And you know, the NCAA definitely didn't have our schools in mind when they decided to go to this, because they know, you know, the dire straits that most of our schools are in. And, you know, as somebody was stating, you know, we barely give, you know, probably got only a handful of schools that do the 11.7 in baseball. You know, so you know they're not going to do 30 some odd, whatever it is. And, you know, so we just kidding ourselves. And from an administrative point of view, you know, you're going to have a lot of ADs that's looking with the same face that I'm looking with right now. You know, ain't no need in coming in. Ain't nothing to be discussed. You know, especially if you haven't won in a while. You know, I mean, you better do the best you can with what we have. And you know, we just try to keep it moving from there. But there's no way is it leveling the playing field as it pertains to us. You know, and you know, when you're talking about increasing the scholarships in the non-revenue sports, Carlos, there's no return on that dollar, no bang for that buck. You know, I mean, you can understand it pretty much. You know, if football's involved, if you know basketball's involved, and I still say even in basketball, most men's basketball teams, they're not gonna play 15 kids. Yeah, so you got 15 kids on scholarship. To me, I mean, there's going to be some waste in there somewhere. You know, I'm not going to give you more to waste. You know, if we at 13, you know, and we're pretty much good with that. You know, you're going to have to convince me that, you know, 14, 15 is going to be a little bit more feasible for you, you know, in terms of why we need to increase that to that amount.
Right. Well, see, Will, one of the things that I would say now, in terms of basketball going from 13 to 15, you can use those other two scholarships for redshirting people. You know, a kid who
and that makes sense. Now that makes sense.
Right. So see that would be the approach that I would take, and see, I can speak for Alabama A&M. They just got to 13 since I retired. See, we just got the 13 scholarship. So I don't see how they're going to jump now and go from 13 to 15 when they just went to 13 in the last 5 or 6 years. So I can see it affecting football more, because by going to 105 for the FBS, to me, what's going to happen now, some of those kids that we were getting on the FCS level, you're not going to get them now, because now that school, that FBS school can get that kid and sit him out, pay for everything. And then the other caveat that they have, those schools will now be able to give these kids that stipend. So a lot of kids are going to go to school, then they're going to forego playing for a full education and that stipend money. That stipend money, I promise you, is going to make a big difference in some of these kids' lives. Because as a coach in recruiting, I've experienced where you got a kid sewn up, but because a larger school comes in and they can do things that we can't do, you lose that kid. So I've seen it. I've experienced it myself. So from that aspect, I can see us losing football players. Some schools will lose a couple of basketball players, because the thing that went with the scholarship increase, they had already approved to give these kids this stipend. On the FBS level, all those athletes are going to be able to receive money. And that's going to be
you know, Coach Pettaway, in today's times with the win now attitude, that sort of thing, you really can't afford to bring a kid in and think that we're going to redshirt him and I'll be able to use him 2 years down the line, because you might not make it 2 years down the line. Yeah, so you really have to be judgmental in terms of, you know, how you want to utilize that extra scholarship, that sort of thing. So, like you said, it's going to damage our schools. There's
Right.
no ifs, ands, and buts about that. And it's just another expense that we can't afford right now.
And I'm looking at some of the comments. Let me give you a little context behind it, and just bear with me. I won't be long. Dozen more scholarship spots are coming to NCAA sports. Doing a meeting Tuesday, Power Conference commissioners finalized new roster size limits that pave the way for athletic departments to distribute millions of dollars in new scholarships to athletes in most notably football, baseball, and softball. Conference officials with knowledge of the figures spoke to Yahoo Sports under condition of anonymity. As part of the new revenue sharing model beginning the 25-26 academic year, by sports scholarship restrictions are eliminated, and schools are permitted to offer scholarships to the entirety of their rosters. The new roster limit figures are not final until the approval of House settlements terms. So it's got to be voted on and go through the process. But if you're just tuning in, uh, the effect it's going to have on our schools, and I say our schools, HBCU schools, smaller resource schools. So that there we are. Wheeler, not that the ADs don't have a tough enough job. Now it's just been made
Yeah.
tougher. And
Yes.
we heard from Coach Pettaway from the coaching perspective. It's going to be tougher. But you know what? HBCUs have for many years had to jump over hurdle after hurdle after hurdle, and somehow I think they still will be able to get over another hurdle and make it. Boy, it's just tough. It's just
Yeah.
tough, Charles.
Yeah, it is. And we were talking before we went on. I mean, so the conversations are going to have to be had. If you're looking at for the men 2 additional basketball scholarships, and then baseball is the one that I'm kind of interested in because, I mean, we all know realistically, you're not going to get 20 more scholarships. That's not going to happen.
Mm-mm.
But if you're Davin Pierre, the coach of Grambling, and Dr. Scott, the AD, you just won the SWAC championship. And I think Pierre and any coach understands you're not going to get 20. But if you're like, well, maybe 4 or 5 more, is that a reality? Is that realistic in terms of, because we all know we all lack pitching. So we need more arms. If we get more scholarships, we can get more arms. So even though you're not going to get the 20, is there any more to be had? Or if you're Wheeler Brown, if you're the AD and say, coach, it's status quo, it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. And so I think that's kind of, where's that conversation going to be had? Does it need to be had now, a year out? If you wait till next year when it all starts? Because I think in football, I mean, it's just that's going to be a tough conversation anyway. But for basketball, for the 2 scholarships, for baseball and the other sports, especially the ones that have been successful, like Jamie Shoup at Florida A&M, does he go to his administration and say, hey, I need a few more scholarships than the 11.7? For us, we're fully funded. And so, don't have a coach right now, but at some point, does that conversation get had? So I think Wheeler Brown, as the AD, you get ahead of it. You kind of let your coaches know, hey, even though it's a year out, it's not final. When it does become final, I think it's when, it's not if. How do you kind of break the news to your coaches in terms of being realistic about what you're looking at with the new changes?
And I'm coming at
Don't
them.
wait.
I'm coming at them, guys, from a dollars and cents point of view, not from a full scholarship point of view. I mean, let's say it costs $18,000 a year to go to, my particular school. I mean, I'm looking at maybe trying to give a coach $50,000 more. Look, take this 50, chop it up, slice it, dice it, do whatever it is, try to get whatever you can out of that, as opposed to an 18 times 5 situation that I know I'm not going to be able to afford. So I mean, they're just going to have to try to find creative ways to do more with less, as we've always done, and as we always have looked for coaches that are able to do just that. And but it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. And the non-revenue sports, Carlos, like I said, you're not bringing in any money. You're helping to bleed me dry. Not saying that from a negative point of view. I mean, but you're taking funds. There's no return on that at all. Whereas, I could see maybe adding some things to football, with basketball, I got them playing a few of the guarantee games, that sort of thing. So they pretty much, earning their keep overall. But, my non-revenue sports, they're going to have to be the ones that ultimately are going to wind up continuing to bite the bullet.
Softball, volleyball, from a Title IX perspective.
Yeah.
You got to weigh all those factors. What I will say to Charles and to Wheeler, I think you try to get ahead of it. You communicate, be transparent, and lay it on the line. What needs to be done? Maybe you can't give the full allotment of scholarships, say to softball and baseball, but maybe 2, 3 here in increments.
And then you take an Olympic sport like track. Look at track. Track jumps from 12 to 45. So what are you gonna do for an Olympic sport like track? And then as an AD, you still got to think about gender equity. If you bump up the men's side, you better be bringing some of them scholarships for the women's side.
There's no doubt about that.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. So you're in a no-win situation. There's no doubt about that.
Well, and that's why I've said that they have a tough job, but I would try to get ahead of it now. I mean, and again, I think you said it earlier. The Power 5, Power 4, whatever you want to call them, conferences, the haves and the have-nots. But on our level, maybe we can try to do it in increments, not to get not to get to that high number, but our base number may be 2 added baseball scholarships, 2 for softball, and your base may be 4 ultimately. But tough situation, and I'll try to get some other ADs on to see, what their thoughts. It's not like they don't have enough that they have to deal with.
Yeah, and then look at the predicament you're putting some of these parents in now. Okay, my child is an athlete, and they got an opportunity to go to this FBS school. They may not get the playing time that they're looking for, but they're getting their education paid for. That's money I don't have to come up with. So from this aspect, it'll take away from us. These are athletes that we were getting, and some of those kids we're not going to get now. They're not going to come our way, because those parents got to look out for themselves too. They got to say, look, we don't have the money to pay for you to go to school. This school is offering you this. We need to think about taking this, because when you come out of school, you need to go pro in whatever you major in. So that's the route some of them are going to have to take, man. And we will see the trickle down effect.
Well, tough situation. NCAA expected to approve massive changes for baseball, basketball, and football. But you know who that's basically geared to.
Yeah.
It's not us. So once again, I'm reminded of, what is it? Rumpelstiltskin. You have to make gold out of straw.
Right.
I'm using that to be facetious, but it's just the case. We're going to take a timeout at about 11:40 Central Standard Time. Going to visit with Coach Darrell Asberry and Rob J. And when I talk to Rob J., like Charles Edmond, I think Hall of Famers. That's what I call them in broadcasting.
Definitely.
With Coach Darrell Asberry, his son just committed to Southern University. We'll have a little footage of that. But I'm going to come at the angle with Coach Asberry, the father, but then the coach. So those are two integral things that he will talk about, and also with Rob J. Broadcasting. You have to prepare for the upcoming season like the athletes. So, and we'll also talk to him about highlights of his broadcasting career. And I know there's some tremendous games. I was looking at the Southern Jackson State when Coach Stump Mitchell was the coach, and they went. I think it seemed like 28 points were scored in like 2 minutes. It was back and forth. So just kind of, pick his brain on some of those highlights. But we'll take a timeout. We'll come back. More of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentJAX.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to have to get every band in the conference on this show. We've got to get the Ocean of Soul, Prairie View A&M band. What's it? We're missing Alabama State and Mississippi Valley State. Did I miss anybody?
Texas Southern.
Yeah, Ocean of Soul. Yeah,
Ocean of Soul. Okay, that's it.
So, with that being said, new episodes of Brave Talk with Charles Edmond on Black College Sports Network Pod Zone, as well as all shows from the past week. Please share and encourage people to subscribe on their favorite podcast platforms. Also available on iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, and Apple Podcasts. Also, for every show, this show included, hit the thumbs up button, hit the notification, so it'll let you know when our show is coming on. Also, in hour number 2, 2024 Summer Olympics have started.
Yep.
I'm going to ask you which events that you are looking forward to watching. I have my top 3. I'll give that out a little bit later. So, with that being said, good morning and afternoon to everyone in the chat room. As usual, they are going at it. and I'm saying that not in a negative way, but in a positive way. Good conversation is going on. Willie Bolden says, Carlos, we are already behind. We are only reactive as administration. Also, the Title IX issue is always still important. That has to continuously be addressed. And then, it's just a tough situation. But I think we have enough talented people at our HBCUs, from administrators to coaches, that once again can get things done. And just another hurdle that they'll have to overcome. With that being said, NBA rejects WBD and TNT offer, and it goes to Amazon. Now there has been a situation where Warner Brothers have taken it to court. They filed a lawsuit. So, guys, where does it go? Where does it go?
Well, Carlos, who's telling the truth? They're trying to say that TNT did their offer was not the same. TNT said they did make the same offer.
They said they did.
I don't know who to believe, but me personally, I want TNT to stay involved because I like what Charles and Shaq and Kenny and Ernie Johnson, I like their pregame and their postgame show, man. I would hate to miss that. And I remember years ago when NBC did have the NBA, it just wasn't the same, man. TNT has really stepped it up when it comes to being entertaining. That's what I'm trying to say. So and then right now they're saying that Charles and Ernie and the crew, they don't want to go to ESPN or go to NBC. So that means that once this upcoming season ends, that's the end of their contract, that they will be through. And I would hate to see that, man, because it's been iconic what they have done over the years, and I would really miss that. They're the only reason why I don't necessarily watch the games. I watch their pregame and their postgame show. Those are taped in my house, so I can always go back and watch them. I don't do a lot of NBA until it's the playoffs or if there's a big matchup. I'm still on the college scene where I'm going to watch college basketball. But I don't as a coach, I don't rely on the NBA in terms of watching regular season games. But I like what those guys do in their business. They got the image to prove that they're at the top of their game.
I'm looking at a graph and who gets what. 11-year NBA media rights contract terms, and it was $76 billion. Cost per year, Walt Disney, $2.6 billion. NBC, $2.5 billion. Prime Video, $1.8. And then Walt Disney gets 80 regular season games. NBC gets 100. Prime Video gets 66. Playoffs, the majority with Walt Disney.
Carlos,
your mic went in and out.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah. You're good now, Carlos.
Okay, but it's divided up with playoffs, extras, Walt Disney, NBC, and Prime Video. So it's going to be interesting. Who gets what? $76 billion. Good God Almighty!
Oh yeah.
That is a lot of money, and then with the streaming aspect, and you would think it's enough to go around. In other words.
Well, Carlos, a couple of things. That pregame show on TNT, it's someone chimed in. It is unmatched. It's a great combination with Charles Barkley, Shaq, Kenny Smith, and Ernie Johnson's not going anywhere. He's going to still stay at Turner. So that it's going to change. I hope Charles Barkley doesn't retire. He said he was, and then he said on Dan Patrick's show he's listening. He's got a year to make a decision. That's all true. But I think what we're learning, the business aspect of it, Carlos, you gave the numbers. I think just like what I'm doing now, I'm a radio guy. This video stuff is something completely different for me. What you're seeing with this NBA product now is the streaming. All right. So NBC, I don't know what NBC streaming platform is. ESPN is streaming, but Warner Brothers and TNT, they're not. And so I think that's a part of it. And I think when we're talking about TNT, we're talking about that show, the pregame show or the postgame show, because it's so entertaining and people watch it. The games are the games. But I think we're in a new era in which NBA, like other sports, are taking their platforms globally with more streaming. And if you don't have a streaming platform, if your network doesn't, TNT doesn't, you could get left out. Now, their chairman said we didn't need the NBA. That's when the negotiations started. They said we didn't need the NBA. And I think that sunk the ship right there to me. Yeah. You don't say that when you've got one of the best post-game and pre-game shows out there and inside the NBA. You don't say that. I never would have said that. I think that hurt their cause and put them behind the 8 ball. They tried to recover, but they couldn't. So I think from one aspect, as a fan, and we're all fans, we love that show, but the NBA is looking at the global piece, the business piece, and the future, which is streaming for all the sports, really. And TNT doesn't offer that, but the other networks do, and that's why they're all getting a piece of the action, like some of these other platforms.
I can remember back in the day, you're watching NBA on NBC, and again, I think it's enough to go around, but we shall see from a legal standpoint. It'll be interesting to see how all of that turns out. NBC uses Peacock as the streaming side. Yeah. So, there are adjustments, and things change, and you have to go with the flow. If not, and I understand. I actually watch the regular season, the big games, and of course the playoffs. I understand that the NBA probably is not as popular as other sports. As far as the NFL, Major League Baseball. Well, I think they're ahead of Major League Baseball, but I'm truly a NBA fan, and I'll still watch it. I'll still watch it if Ernie and the boys are not there. But you're right, you will miss it.
It won't be the same.
It won't be the same. It won't be the same. We'll take another timeout. When we come back, Coach Asberry should be logging in, and we'll talk with him. We'll see if Rob J will make an appearance. He's famous. In Birmingham, I was trying to get to him, but he had so many people around him. I couldn't get to him. Every time I wanted to just shake his hand and say hello, he was getting pulled for this interview. He was getting pulled for that interview. So I admire him. And what he's done. We'll take a timeout. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. We shall return.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong.
Go get 'em.
It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida. 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him?
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
When it comes to professional learning, teachers deserve better. From the leader in online learning, Stride brings you the Stride Professional Development Center, an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that gives teachers choice and flexibility, allowing them to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. It's time you take charge of your learning. Visit us today to get started.
Welcome back to this week's edition of the Coles Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Now introducing our very special guest, Coach Darrell Asberry, former Jackson State quarterback. On the coaching level, he's done it all. Now head football coach at Southern Lab, coming off of another state championship. Good morning, Coach Asberry. How you doing?
Good morning, everyone. How you all doing?
All right, DA. All right.
What's up, Coach?
Morning.
We doing Coach Asberry, I didn't want to pick at you, but that green and gold looks nice. Your son just recently committed to Southern University. So as a father, how are you feeling right now? Your son now looks like it's going to be on to his next level, on the collegiate level.
Well, you know, growing up as a kid, you have your son, you always, I'm happy. Let me say that. I'm happy. I'm pleased with his decision. He has some choices, and for a young man that's watching him grow, going through some of the things he's been through as a kid, 6 years old, breaks the kneecap. They had to move it and shift it back in place. And
wow,
at 6 years old, that happened. And he came to me and said, Dad, I want to play again. I didn't try to force it on him. One thing for me, that I've never tried to live my career through him. So I'm happy with his decision-making throughout his whole career. I mean, he's ranked about third in his class and graduating class. And what else as a father can you ask for?
How you pronounce his name? I just want to make sure.
It's Amarian Asberry.
Amarian. Amarian Asberry. That's what I thought. I just want to make sure. We're gonna try to pull up his highlights. I got it to the producer a little bit late. But talk about him as from a coaching standpoint. What does he? What will he bring to the table?
Well, he's 5'11" and a half, 6 foot. He's 205. You're talking about a kid that was 245 pounds. Once he got that injury, couldn't work out. So I told him, I said, well, son, if you want to play for me, you're going to have to lose weight. And he got down. He got down to 205, and he lost all that weight within about a 6-month period.
Wow.
And, the product came. Now he can cut. He can make all the big runs that we need him to make. So I'm very pleased with him.
Coach, you talked a little bit earlier. He had some offers, but the recruiting process, according to reports, came down to Southern, Alcorn State, and Grambling State. Were there any other interests, or was it just it came down to those three?
Well, he had some interest. We visited UL a lot. It really came down to those three. And I kind of stayed out of the process of it. I was going, as dad, I'm going to step in.
Mm-hmm.
What we did, I asked him, I said, well, here's what I want you to do. Remove the football piece from it. Where do you see yourself where you can go to school and be successful with a career and get you a degree that can develop a career? And that's how we, came down with the decision. The coaching staff at Southern University did a great job. Hats off to those guys, Coach Graves and the staff. The offensive coordinator, Coach Scott. I mean, they did what recruiters do, and I was very, very impressed with that.
Yeah, that's interesting, guys, because I don't have any kids, but a lot of times you think about parents, how involved should they be, Coach Asberry, or should they kind of leave it totally up to the kid, whether male or female, to do it all on their own, or do you push in a little bit more? What advice you give to other parents who perhaps are listening right now?
Well, I tell any other parents, stay involved, because the way the recruiting process is set up now, these coaches will talk to your kids and you will never know it. You got TikTok going on now, all these social media websites where they're contacting the kid. And what a lot of college coaches don't realize is the kids don't make the final decision. I can say that in my house. Let me say that. I'm going to be involved. I'm going to always be dad. And, so I was heavily involved. If the coach called, he would talk, but at the end of the day, he would tell him, now, Coach, I don't make the final decision. He's going to have to talk to my dad. So, that's how the trust that we have with one another. You're talking about a kid that I've had him since 6th grade. He's been with me since 6th grade. So I feel very blessed to have an opportunity to coach him. But that recruiting process is something special.
Well, Coach Asberry, I'm glad to hear you say that, because I think if I'm in that situation, I'm going to be heavily involved. And I was just interested because, some leave it up to, say, 80, 70%, the kid makes the decision. I've seen the other side of the argument that parents should be involved. Now, Coach Asberry, I got smarty pants just text me and wanted to know, was Jackson State involved, and I guess they're a little ticked off, but maybe not. Can you talk on that if that was the case?
No, it wasn't the case. One thing I tell my son is you have to go make your own name. We did have a conversation. Jackson State has a slew of great running backs, and I wasn't, and they were not involved. But that doesn't make me feel any different about my school. I still bleed blue and white every day, all day. But it's a business decision. Everybody has a business decision. When it comes to family, family's always first. So we're just I'm happy that he made that decision, and he's pleased with that decision.
Right. Visiting Coach Darrell Asberry, head football coach at Southern Lamb. Coach, coming off a state championship, outlook for your team. Is there a chance? Is the goal is to repeat and bring in another title?
Yeah, Coach. You know, we've had this thing now. I'm going on year 8, and I think we're probably in the range of. It took me a while to get my own team together. So once we got our guys together, and the standard now is, you know, we're going to play all the way through December. And if your mindset is not set for that, then Southern Lab is not the program that you want to be a part of. So it's a standard, it's a brand, and we're going to continue wherever I've been fortunate to coach as a head coach. You know, it's a brand that you have to understand that, you know, if it's championship or it's no mediocre season where we come from. It's either championship or bust. So Southern Lab has been able to produce some quality athletes, and I've been blessed to have an administration that understands what we need, and the kids have been great student athletes. And I think that's been our plus. But for me, my parents have been the huge plus because they allow me to run it like a college program. And so my hat's off to all of my parents.
That is outstanding. Charles, you got a question or two? Anybody?
I have a question. I have a question and a comment, Coach Asberry. How you doing?
How you doing, Charles?
Good. I want to first. My comment is I enjoy your broadcast with Rob J. It's very entertaining when we're not playing. If we're playing later, I'm watching. And I know Rob J keeps you stitches all the time. So you all do a good job with that, and I appreciate the work that you all do there.
Thank you.
You talked about the interest that your son had. One was Jackson State, and one was Alcorn. And it just seems like when I get on Carlos's show, we're losing folks that were interested in Alcorn coming to Southern University, a couple of kickers. And so, you know, I held my head down when you mentioned Alcorn. Just talk about that. I mean, obviously, Purple and Gold was interested in you and vice versa, interested in your son. Just talk about that process.
Well, Coach Thomas is a great football coach, great person. Let me say that. I really like Coach Thomas. That was the choice first. And then, like I said, Southern's coaching staff came in and they just, they were phenomenal. And I think that's what tipped everything over the edge. But we visited Alcorn. We were there probably unofficial, probably about 5 or 6 times. So, and I enjoyed it, the atmosphere there. But when it came down to the way the recruiting process went, and I think that's what ended up happening because Alcorn has a great program.
How do you do it, Coach, in terms of you coaching games on Friday and then having to go wherever Jackson's going? How do you make that? I'm sure some all-night trips on the road trying to get to wherever Jackson is.
Yeah, sometimes it depends on where we're going. I'll schedule we'll have Thursday night games, then I can travel on Friday. But when we have those tough games where I'm playing on Friday and Jackson is in Florida, now I got to get up and catch that 5 o'clock flight and land in Florida. Sometimes I'll go to the hotel, get my credentials, catch me an Uber to the stadium because Rob and them are gone. So I'll just get dropped off at the stadium, and then I'll write my notes down. So they always take this picture of me. So once I do my notes and everything, I'll just take me a little nap. So I'll doze off about an hour, and one thing I can hear everybody talking in the background. They'll be like, "Well, one or two things: he's either been eating or he's tired."
and Rob J is a tremendous asset. His long career broadcasting. What are some of your, and not to put you on the spot, but what are some of your memories of some of your your broadcast, because I do enjoy it as well, as Charles stated.
Well, once we talk about the game, the thing I like about working with Rob is nothing is scripted. I mean, it just comes off the cuff with us. So he'll say, he may say something like, once we're getting ready to take a break or something, and we'll come out of halftime. So I may still have some food sitting right there. He'll say, ladies and gentlemen, I know this game is great. Y'all are enjoying this game, but I would pay to see this man eat this food. Y'all What Rob doesn't tell everybody is, if I walk in there with some cookies, he's gonna stop what he's doing, and I'll bring him cookies in his face like this.
So he has a sweet tooth.
We try to have fun. We try to do our job the right way. We don't believe in getting on there being negative towards anyone.
Right.
We just like to be positive, whether you're winning or losing. People don't understand how hard it is to win a football game on no matter what level you're on. It is hard to win a football game, so people have to understand.
And speaking of that, September 14th, that's going to be a special day. Of course, Southern University at Jackson State. I'm glad the game is now 6 p.m. instead of 1 p.m., Coach Asberry. What is going to be your thought process? I know you got to prepare for the broadcast, but from the father's standpoint, how are you going to feel about that football game?
Well, it's going to be a very physical football game. One thing about Southern and Jackson, that game can be played anywhere, and you're going to have a great football game. You have two great head coaches, T.C. Taylor and Coach Terrence Graves, with a great coaching staff. So, just my memories when I played there, it's going to be very packed. It's going to be physical. I do know that much. Those guys are going to be hitting on both sides of the football. And it's going to come down to which team has the most discipline, and teams that make the ones that make the big plays.
Yeah, it's just a tremendous atmosphere. It's going to be electric, no doubt about it. Piggyback back to Southern Lab. What can we look for as far as the schedule? Usually Southern Lab plays up in classification a lot, but how is that schedule looking for 2024?
Well, we picked up some teams this year. I don't know what I was thinking about when I picked these guys up. We picked up, we're a single A school, which means you're the smallest one. So we picked up a 5A school, Denham Springs.
Whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, we picked up another 3A. Madison, of course, is a 3A school. We play a lot of, I try to stay within my weight class to prepare us for the playoffs. So I picked up a team named Kaplan. They're another 4A, 3A school. So the problem I run into is I lost 21 seniors. So I have to get guys to grow up real fast.
But you know what, Coach Asberry, expectations, we talk about this on the show all the time. And you and your staff, and quickly talk about your staff, because you guys have done a great job.
Yeah, my defensive coordinator, I'll be coming in with a new defensive coordinator. My defensive coordinator, Jeremy Smith, he took the defensive line coaching job at Grambling State University. That was a blessing that he was able to get on the college level. I'm very happy for him and his family. So I had to replace my defensive coordinator, and everybody else is pretty much still intact. But it felt good for me to lose him to a college program.
Yeah, albeit Grambling State. You know what, Coach Asberry, it seems like their staff always has somebody with local ties in Baton Rouge. But that's just me. Maybe I'm exaggerating on that point. But it'll be interesting to lose a coach on the staff to a better, elevating his career. That is a good thing. Coach Asberry, I know your time is precious. Closing comment for our audience, if you care to do so, sir.
Well, I want to say, I see Coach Brown go way back.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
It's good to see Coach and Coach Pettaway, and it's good to see you as well. And
yes,
Charles, good speaking with you. Just continue to support these kids.
About it. Great, man.
Yeah, Coach. I still had that itch in me, Coach. So no telling what's gonna happen.
I feel you.
People
you still looking to get back on the collegiate level, Coach? Is that still a goal, or
it
pretty
is
much happy where you are?
Well, I tell you, Southern Lab has been good to me and my family, but I still have some unfinished business that I need to get back in and take care of. Everybody know when I was at Texas Southern, the road we went down. Dr. McCullum was great. We're still best friends to this day. But it's a blessing that's going to come at some particular time, and I am interested in getting back in it.
Okay.
So it just has to be right for me and my family. I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna take a head job just saying I'm a head coach. It has to be an opportunity where I can go in and people want to invest in their program. Because even when I took over at Southern Lab, I said, do we want to be average? Do we want to compete? Or do we want to win championships?
Yes.
So I need to know what direction that the program wants to do, because I want to win championships. And that's what my name, I want to graduate kids. I want to continue to put kids in college, but I want to win championships. And everybody knows that as a head coach, that's what you're measured off. They'll talk about APR, they'll talk about all that stuff. But at the end of the day, if you're not winning, they're gonna call you. We're gonna put this direction. So Coach, to answer your question, I am interested.
Okay. We'll keep in contact, Coach. No doubt about it, man. We'll definitely keep in contact. Best of luck.
Yes, sir. Yeah. I thank you all for the time. Anytime, Carlos, Rob did have an emergency. He called me right before we got ready to go on the air, and he had an emergency, so he was going to come on. But I was going to let him know, let you all know he was on, but he had an emergency.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that, and again, we appreciate the time. I think of you as an offensive guru, Coach Asberry. And and by the way, you have a former quarterback that was at Tuskegee. He transferred into Southern University, and he can spin it. He can spin it.
He won the Work Done Award. So his senior year, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say he threw for about 3,500, probably 30, 38, 40 touchdowns. We still getting it downfield. The quickest way to the end zone is vertical now. All these double screens and all that. The quickest way is vertical, Coach.
Hey, I like that. Me and my best friend always talk about that. But hey, from a non-coaching perspective, I definitely agree. Coach Asberry, have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank
you. Appreciate the time, and we'll talk again real soon.
Okay, thank you all, and have a good day.
All right, good luck, Coach.
Yes,
good. That was Coach Asberry. Hey, he still wants to. Coach Pettaway, once it's in your blood, it's there.
Yeah, it's there. It's there.
Yeah.
And you it's just like they say you find something that you like doing, and then you never work a day in your life. When it gets in you, it's in you, man. And that it's still in me. But I'll slap myself upside the head and say, hey, you don't want to get back to me. That kind of thing. But no, I'm serious. Once it's in you, it's in you. It's in you.
Yeah.
And you'll find yourself doing it. I go sit there watching high school games, junior college games, and you'll find yourself coaching. And even on the broadcast sometime, the coaching part of me will come out, man, when you're watching stuff. So it's in him, and I like to see Coach back in it on the collegiate level. And he's showing the world that he knows what he's doing. You because to win championships, you got to know what you're doing, man. You got to know what you're doing.
And I agree. And, we often joke about, the culture, the climate of sports
Right.
now. Yeah, you have to win. And, I'm still trying to, and I don't know how this happened. It's almost if you do a Google search and you say 2-year contract, my name pops up.
Here
Now,
we go.
I wonder
Here
how
we
that
go.
happened. and I'm looking at Coach Pettaway, Wheeler, and Ball. How did my name get associated with that? I don't know.
It is called the Carlos Brown contract. Google the Carlos Brown contract and see how many searches you get.
That's not the
case. No. And then Carlos, to watch his highlights of his son, you see how his son he runs in between tackles. He doesn't have to get to the outside. That kid's pretty tough, man. His son really carrying the mail, man. He carrying the mail.
A nice solid back into he came. Coach Asberry talked about how he challenged him, and he accepted the challenge and knocked off the weight pretty quickly there. And true, they play.
But I'm very leery of coaches who don't go through the parents in terms of recruiting the kids.
Right.
And that's a must. That's a must-have.
I agree. Yeah.
And I used to tell my coaches that all the time. You can't go in the back door.
Right.
You gotta converse and front these parents, and these parents have to know who we are and what we're about and the whole 9 yards. We gotta sell them even more so than we're selling the kids.
Right.
You gotta sell them. Yeah. So I'm leery of coaches that try to go through the back door.
Right.
to get the kids.
Right. And see, Will, most of the time when we go into a house, one of the first questions we ask, who's going to be making the decision? Who's going to make the decision on this? And then you work from there. But you're right. You got to go through the parents, man. And then, sometimes when you got blended families, who's going to make that final decision? When you got grandparents involved, who's going to make that decision? Who has the juice? Is it the high school coach or is it the AAU coach? Who has the juice? In order to recruit, you got to know all these things, man, because they'll come up and bite you, man. And I'm telling you, on a collegiate level, we recruited a kid out of junior college. I had a kid committed to me out of junior college. The day the kid was supposed to sign, I get a phone call from a guy I never knew. You know what he told me? Oh, he's not signing with you. I said, wait a minute, who are you? He was the kid's AAU coach now. He was his AAU coach, and this kid coming out of junior college, but the AAU coach is the one making the decision, and nobody told us that.
Wow.
So he was upset that we didn't go through him, and guess what? We didn't get the kid.
Well, sounds like you didn't need him, but
right, yep.
And, I tried to do a show on that, the influence of AAU coaches, and I talked to a couple of local high school coaches. They didn't want to do it, and the reason why, because of how much power.
Right.
They don't want to get blackballed,
Carlos. Right.
Blackballed.
Yeah, and see, it makes it tougher for the collegiate coaches, man, because you got so many people that you got to please to get one athlete, man. AAU coaches, high school coaches, the parents, the grandparents. You got it, man. You got to be able to you have to spread yourself thin because you got a lot of area, a lot of ground to cover. Now there are some good AAU coaches out there. But man, there's some coaches out there, they're not looking out for the best interest of the kid.
No.
Yeah.
Good,
so
good
all
point,
that
Coach.
comes into play.
Yeah, good point, Coach Pettaway. I don't want to seem like all AAU coaches, but just like in life, there's good and bad.
Right. Yes.
And it was interesting, and I asked him the question because I know years ago on local radio, we had this big debate. It was parental involvement in the process, the recruiting process. Then on the other side, you had those that kind of had a standoffish type of attitude. They wasn't heavily involved, and that's why I phrase it. I'm not a parent, but if I was, I'd be heavily involved. Now, I might even go to the situation of saying, you have two choices: Southern University, and your second choice is Southern University. but you get the point. You should be involved, and you're right, Will. A parent, and I remember the late great Eddie Robinson. The stories I was told when he was devastated when he get into a home. He recruits the grandmother, grandfather, mother, and dad, and then by the way, the student athlete last. But very interesting. We'll take a time out. When we come back, it'll be more of the Coles Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network.
Since 2002, Empowerment Resources, Inc., a nonprofit organization, has empowered more than 1,500 youth and adults in Duval and surrounding counties through its programs Journey into Womanhood, Girls Mentoring, Life Skills for Teens, and Parenting Education Coaching. To get involved with programs, volunteer, or donate, visit www.empowermentresourcesinc.org. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/empowerment.resources and instagram.com/empowermentjax.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KEAVERSVOICE.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Nothing like it.
I gotta go, Pat. Yeah, I know. Hey, the Miami Heat won the summer league. I'll call you after the show.
There's a ticker tape parade, Carlos, for the Heat winning the summer league. There's a ticker, not a parade, a ticker tape parade. That means you done something.
Coach Pettaway, Charles is trying to be facetious there.
Yeah. Hey, the Lakers won. What was that in-season tournament? The Lakers won that and hung a banner up. So hey.
Oh
yeah.
No, we're not gonna hang a banner up, but Coach Pettaway, Miami Heat, they got it done in summer league against Memphis. Yeah, Miami Heat 2024 summer league champion. But we're looking for the other one, Charles.
Right. But you know what, Carlos? I saw some pieces that they can use now. there's some kids on that team that can really help Miami this year now. And I think I think his name is Ware. With him going in there, man, being able to free up Bam, I think they'll have an opportunity to play Ware and Bam at the same time. Bam will get an opportunity to go to the 4 spot, where I think he's a better 4 than he is a 5, because he's undersized as a 5. But Ware brings a lot to the table, man. The kid can run, he rebounds, he plays that 5 spot real good. So, and not just him now. There's some other kids on that summer league team that I think that can give Miami some depth.
Stevens, Christian, and
Yep.
Rashard Johnson. Boy, it's going to be interesting. 2-way deal, 2-way contract. I agree, and I saw Bam on the Olympic team. Hit some threes. He's developing that 3-point shot, but he also has that mid range. But congratulations on it. Winning the 2024 Summer League, but hopefully things will be better in the future for the Miami Heat. I wanted to say something else about the NBA, but Olympics.
Right, the Olympics.
Has started. This is for the chat room and for the panel. What events are you looking forward to watching? I know I have track and field, basketball, boxing. Yeah, men and women. You're absolutely right. And I even like water polo.
But I watched it this morning. We won this morning. We won 13-5. I watched it before I came on the show. I watched water polo this morning. I watched the start of the gymnastics. I watched swimming. The 4x4, the prelims. I watched that. So I like swimming. I do the track and field. I do the boxing. Of course, I'm gonna do the basketball. Women's gymnastics. I'm not too much into the men, but the women's gymnastics, I like watching that. And then I'm like you, Carlos, water polo. I got to watch me some of that, man. Now, one of the things that I'm not going to waste my time on this year, it's going to have to grow on me, breaking. Breaking is not going to occupy my time. That's one of the new that's one of the new things, but that's not going to take up any of Vann Pettaway's time. Look, I'd rather be at PT than watching that. And I hate physical therapy. But I'll be watching. And speaking of physical therapy, somebody earlier wanted to know how is it going. It's going pretty good. I got great range of motion in my knee. They like where I am. I'm ahead of schedule right now. So things are going well. I don't just sit at home. When I'm at home, I still try to do stuff. I am walking down without a cane, without a scooter. The only thing is I just can't sit in a car jammed up very long. That's the only thing, that's still not there yet. But and because it's my right knee, they're not letting me drive yet. So Carlos, that means I have to rely on others, and that's not me. I've always been independent. I want to do things on my own, but I'm getting there. And thanks for asking about it for whoever did that early on. But I love the Olympics. I like the Olympics, man.
Charles, what event you looking at?
I'm kind of with Coach Pettaway. Of course, men's basketball. I'm anxious to see if Team USA can get it done, even though they kind of sleptwalked through those 2 tune-ups, leading up to the Olympics. I'm looking forward to seeing if they can get it done. Tennis with Coco. I'm looking forward to that. And then Simone Biles in the gymnastics. I'm looking forward to that. Someone made a post about kid from UAPB making the Olympic team and looking forward to that. If that's the case, then I'm looking forward to that as well as the women's basketball. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So, for the Olympics, for the men's basketball, it used to be back in the day with Michael Jordan and Larry Bird. I can't remember which team that was, Carlos. I think Mike Krzyzewski was the coach where he never called a timeout. I don't know what Olympics that was. He never called a timeout. They were just so dominant and so awesome. Yep. He never called a timeout during the whole Olympics. That's something we'll probably never see again. But, I'm looking forward to seeing if LeBron and company can get it done. But it's going to be a lot of interest for me in the Olympics this year.
And the Vince, you're looking forward to watching
track and field and men's and women's basketball. Those pretty much do it for me. I'll do swimming from time to time, that sort of thing, but it's mostly track and field and men's and women's basketball.
Oh, and to add women's volleyball, tremendous athletes. Let me go back to and some of the comments mentioned that they're kind of worried about the men's USA basketball team. But I will say this: South Sudan, they just kind of assembled a team, but they have tremendous talent. And when you look at the Sudanese people, the ancient Nubians, they come from good stock. And I would not be surprised that if you sleep on them, they could pull up an upset. Tall, athletic. And the men's basketball team, USA, I still believe they're going to win the gold medal. But basketball now is a global program, so teams have gotten better. But the heavy favorite, or the favorite, I'll take heavy out of that, is USA men's basketball team. On the women's side, I think they'll be okay as well. But I wonder if the 7'5" lady from China is playing. Wow, have you seen her?
Yeah,
on social media. Oh my goodness!
I think I have seen her. Yeah,
but guess what? I'll make her run the floor.
That's what I just going to tell you. They're going to run her butt in the ground, man. She's going to get up on one. Hey, they're going to go back to playing half court basketball where you only can score on one end, because they're going to leave her in the dust, man. That's all they got to do for her.
Yeah. Keep it moving. But South Sudan, very impressive. Very impressive. And I think their better days are ahead of them.
Yeah.
I guess that is what I'm trying to say. So,
well, Carlos, you talked about the USA men. I mean, they're going to get some of the best players in the world, but I agree with you. I think other teams in other countries have gotten better. And so we're going to get the best on this side of it. But, these other teams are just gotten better. I mean, and then you got Jokic and some of these other players who playing in the NBA, playing for their country's teams. They're going to make them better. So we're going to have the best. But these other teams have some of the best players too from these other countries, and that's what's going to make it. That's going to make it an interesting Olympics for the men.
But
you said the magic word. You said global. That's what has happened to basketball. It's global now. Back when the Dream Team was there, they weren't playing global basketball then. The NBA Commissioner Stearns wanted the game to go global, and that's what he wanted to see. And it's happening. And so other countries are putting more emphasis on basketball. So they have closed that gap when it comes to the United States being head and shoulders above everybody else. And so some of our same coaches are training these guys in these foreign countries. Some of our same coaches are coaching those teams. And then you got those players that are coming over here, going to high schools in the United States. They're developing, and then they go back and play for their home countries. And that's why they're so – look at what Canada – look how strong Canada's team is and how many of those kids are in the NBA. And you're seeing it from every country. You're seeing players who play in the NBA going back playing for their Olympic teams. And then in some cases, some of those teams are together for 2 or 3 months before our NBA guys, before the season is even over with. They're already playing. And so by the time we get our guys and they only have 2 to 3 weeks to prepare for that, that's tough, man. That's why you're seeing these close games.
Now, I will add this piece. From what I've seen, the first unit perhaps struggled, but boy, that second unit.
Yes, sir.
Anthony Davis,
Edwards,
Bam, Edwards, and Tatum.
Yes, sir.
Me, that has been the difference. When they come in, it's instant energy. So with that being said, that's why I still I still like the United States in the men's Olympic team, and specifically because of that second unit, they have played outstanding. And I think the depth that the USA has.
And Carlos, if Kevin Durant is going to play, now you got to work him in. So see that's something else that's got to happen. That chemistry has to come about to where he can fit in and be productive. They haven't practiced with him. They haven't played with him in competition, and they still got to try to work him in. So you got to keep your eye on that also.
Well, I'm not sold that Kevin Durant is ready. I'm not sold. I mean, I think they're talking all around it. They're getting them ready, but I'm with you, Coach Pettaway. I'm not so sure how much he can give them. I mean, there's enough talent on that team to win it all, to put on the gold medal, but I'm not certain that Kevin Durant is 100%. And I'm just gonna throw a little shot. Derek White, when Kawhi Leonard was sent home, Derek White was selected, but I would have loved to see Jaylen Brown get that.
Yeah,
and that's been talked about too. I mean, he was the MVP of the NBA Finals or whatever the case was, and he's not on the Olympic team. Go figure that one out. I'm kind of confused with that. I mean, that's old news now, but it's still. I was thinking about it the other day. Like, man, you put Jaylen Brown in there with that, and even if KD's not healthy, can't give you much. You got another piece there that's been productive. We know what he's done, and I think he could definitely give the USA more of an advantage. Just my opinion.
To me, he's more versatile, man. He can get it done on the offensive end and the defensive end. To me, he was closer to Kawhi Leonard than White because he can give it to you on both ends of the floor. White is a decent player, but if I had to make that choice, if it was my team, I would have gone with Jaylen Brown.
Yeah,
because he's in a groove. He's been in a groove since the playoffs, right? So now you needed that on your team, man. You needed that on your team, and I think he would have been a great fit.
I would agree. And right turn, by the way, how are you going to keep that team together? Wow.
Oh,
Boston Celtics, man, that's
right.
They're going into the luxury tax. What is it? 500 million.
Right.
That roster.
Yep.
And Carlos, the team's up for sale. So who wants to?
That's the biggest thing. Yeah.
Right. You gonna buy a team, and then you already paying these big penalties, right off the bat. And you haven't made a dime yet. So that's tough, man. That's tough. I don't see how that team's gonna stay together.
Can't be a dynasty, Charles.
I think Boston's trying to pull a Golden State. With all those high-priced players, with Curry, Draymond Green. Clay's gone now, but when that team was together, they were very high-priced. I think Boston's trying to pull another Golden State. If they get another 2 champions, they've already won 1 together. If they get another 2, you can make the case, well, it was worth the investment. But if they get to the finals and don't win it, get to the conference finals, don't win it, teams improving in the East, then with the team being for sale, with the amount of money that's being paid, then people are going to say, you're spending a lot of money and we've only hoisted that trophy 1 time. And even though that's great right now, but for that kind of money, I expect 3 championships out of that group, Carlos. I expect another 2 in this window.
Wait a minute. Is that it's not a 2-year contract, huh? A 3-year?
I expect another 2. I mean, with the amount of money you're paying that group, Porzingis and all, I mean, if they don't get another 2 titles with this group, with the amount of money that's coming down the road, then people are going to question the amount of money that you're spending. Now, with Golden State, they had a great run. Clay was hurt. He was upset that he wasn't involved in some things, and, it was done. But they had a great run. Boston is starting this run with this young group. How old is Tatum? 26, 27, whatever it is. Jaylen Brown, about the same. I as a basketball fan with the amount of money, I'm thinking another 2 titles. If they don't get that the next 3 or 4 years, then you're going to question whether or not that money was worth it. So we're going to see. It's all about winning championships now with Boston. They got 1, but winning 1 and you paying $500 million down the road just ain't going to cut it. At least for me, and I'm sure for Boston fans, they'll probably feel the same way.
Wait a minute. So if they get the run up 2 or 3 times, but don't get the championship,
It's all about that championship. That's what it's all about.
With that luxury tax that they paying, they got them.
I wonder
Gotta get over the top.
Will, I wonder who says that all the time. It's about the championships. You know, getting close is just not, you know, forget the money piece, which I don't think is sustainable anyway. With that roster and that type of money, even if you win 3 titles, yeah, it's worth it, but long term, that's still a lot of money. Ooh, can't believe I said that. Can't believe I said that.
And see that's what Golden State is faced with right now. The other day they were talking about adding another piece to their team, and Draymond told them they wouldn't be a good fit. You don't sell the future of the team just because you're trying to win now. You better be thinking about on down the road, and they vetoed the trade this past week. So in the NBA is more than just putting a team together. It's being able to keep the team together, and if you got to be an expert in the tax brackets, in the luxury tax, and all of that, in order to be able to keep a team on the floor.
Yeah,
and also, and here's why. I'm gonna pat myself on the back with Coach Riley and Miami. Evaluation talent. You look at in the summer league how they can identify potential, and then they develop that potential.
Right.
How many times you look at players that didn't get drafted? So their scouting department is outstanding. And back to that summer league, well, Ware, he's a 7-footer, 15th pick. But the other guys that they're talking about bringing in, besides, it's going to be tough because their roster, I think they're at 14 now. So trying to work those guys in. But it's the financial piece, it's the administrative piece, it's the scouting piece, it's the developmental piece. All of that makes a good franchise. And if you can do it without spending money way up there, that's the edge. And that's why, Charles, when I throw a little dig at you with the Miami versus the Lakers, it's not even close from upper management to me.
Oh yeah,
but I could be wrong.
No, you're
right.
You are exactly right. And look, thank goodness for a salary cap. Just think. Hear me out. Hear me out. Okay, these owners. Look at Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, one of the richest men in the world. Just think if there was no salary cap and if he can buy the players he wants with the amount of money he has. What if Jerry Jones can buy exactly the players he wants with no salary cap? What do you think that would look like? There would only be a handful of teams in each sport that could have that type of talent. So with the salary cap, it keeps the salaries in line in a sense, but it makes everybody equitable. And if you go over the apron, you're going to be penalized, and that money goes back into the league. So that's why I'm saying thank goodness for a salary cap, because it does make it a little equitable where even the small market teams can have a push and make a run at getting some top flight players. If the owners, some of the richest in the world, can just buy the team that they want, just think if you had LeBron and Steph Curry and Giannis, if you put that team together, how many championships do you think they would win with no salary cap? If an owner decides I'm gonna pay LeBron $70 million, if I'm gonna pay Giannis $60 million, if I'm gonna pay Steph Curry $60 million a year, with no salary cap, you get whoever you want, pay however much you want. Thank goodness for a salary cap to keep things in line to where the small market team like Toronto won a championship when Kawhi was there. You can go on and on with this kind of stuff. So that's why, as a fan, I like it a little equitable where you can get some championship caliber players on each team to make it balanced. You talk about fair and balanced, Carlos. You always talk about that, and that's what these salary caps are doing. And the owners that are willing to pay the luxury tax, they're paying the price. But now you don't win the title, you got to do something. Golden State, Klay Thompson, a classic example of that. They had to do something because it was costing them too much. And Klay, he's been banged up. He's been great. But it was time. Somebody had to go on that Golden State team. Somebody had to go. Right. And it was Klay. Banged up as he was not productive. His numbers went down. He was upset about the fact he wasn't included on stuff when things were happening. Clay had to go. Even Draymond said it on the podcast. He wasn't happy, so they shipped him on.
Well, guess what? Father Time and Mother Nature's undefeated.
That's who.
Right.
Also, $76 billion. That TV contract, that media deal, that's going to always make it for the owners because they're making money. If the players making money, they're making money. Got to take a timeout. We'll put a button in that one. When we come back, Courtney Lyles is scheduled to join us. He's a Southern University football player, student athlete, and he has an interesting story, a journey. I remember him at Jackson State. There's another Jackson State player that's now made his way to Southern University. We'll hear about his story in the process and how he's getting ready for this 2024 football season. Coach Pettaway, you said 8-3, Alabama A&M.
Yep.
Charles, you had made a prediction on Alcorn, but I'm still trying to get over Alcorn State picked to win it all. Unbelievable. They know something I don't know.
Well, it sounds like 8-3 or better if they're going to win it. If they pick them to win it, they got to be 8-3 or better to win.
Well, I think Charles will be happy with 7-4 or 6-5. Which up, see, that's the difference. Expectations. We'll take a timeout. You're watching the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
The Cuvée Group is a Florida-based marketing and training consulting firm. We help businesses communicate to their target audience and engage them in conversation. We also help to expand their audiences, which will ultimately result in growth for those organizations. In addition to being a certified constant contact specialist, my colleagues and I are also certified in John Maxwell Leadership Principles. We use these proven principles to conduct workshops, training, and private coaching sessions for individuals and companies looking to take things to the next level. Contact us to schedule a free consultation. Issues today, don't delay, call Cuvée.
As technology continues to bring changes to the world of education, it's time we also reimagine teacher professional development. Gone are the days of one-size-fits-all learning that can only be accessed at a specific time and place. The Stride PD Center is an on-demand library of mobile-friendly courses that allow educators to learn anytime and anywhere. Our dynamic courses provide bite-sized learning and help educators advance their knowledge while also gaining professional development hours. The best professional development plans are those that include a level of flexibility and choice for educators. Whether you're a teacher, school, or district, visit us today to take charge of your learning.
I must admit, that's outstanding. That's outstanding piece. The sonic boom of the South. But that's the only credit I give him right there. After that. Welcome back to the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Courtney Lyles is on the show. Good afternoon, Courtney. Welcome to the Carlos Brown Show.
Thank you for having me.
Well, your journey from JSU to Southern University. Talk about that journey and how you ended up at Southern University.
I was born and raised in Jackson, Mississippi, and so I always just was around Jackson State. And so coming out of Southwest Community College, I just felt it was only right to go back home. But the day after signing the day, and when we signed in January, the O-line coach that recruited me at Jackson State left. And so it was just like, dang, all this, like, what was the point of coming back if you were gonna leave? And so we ended up getting Texas Southern O-line coach. And so it just ain't feel right being there. So I just went through the spring and just got on the thought of it.
Now,
and plus Southern, Coach Graves and Southern. What you saying?
No, go ahead.
I said, and last year when I was at Southwest Community College going on all my visits, me and Coach Graves, he recruited me to come to Southern when Dooley was there. And so me and him always had that relationship. So it was really a no-brainer to go and come to Southern.
Well, we're glad to have you at Southern University, and you talk about your relationship with Coach Graves. Now, one of the things that stood out to me, you can play multiple positions on the offensive line. So it's kind of like cross-training. How did that concept come up for you? Is that something that you started, or did, talking to other coaches kind of gave you that mindset to be able to play every position on the offensive line, if need be?
It was really an evolution, because in high school I played right tackle. Then I only played 1 year of high school football too. I only played my 12th grade year, because my 11th grade year, that when COVID came around. And so my 12th grade year, I played right tackle. And then towards the end of the season, they moved me to right guard. I went to Southwest. I started playing right tackle. Then towards the end, they moved me to right guard. And then my second year, we had got my new O-line coach at Southwest named Quentin Asberry. He played for Mississippi State. He was a big believer in being able to play multiple positions. And so it was my second year at Southwest was crazy. I started off at right guard for 2 games. 2 games they had me at right tackle, and then they moved me to left guard for a couple games. They moved me to left tackle for a couple games. I was just everywhere, so it's really something I had to learn myself.
Now at Southern University and bonding with your teammates, how is that going for you?
Yeah, I love it. It's home away from home. I love it.
Home away from home.
Yeah. And then Coach Nivens, that's my dog too. He just like having me, knowing I can play all the positions, coming wherever he want me.
Now, again, back to that's interesting, because some have stated they're interested in seeing how the O-line performs for Southern University in 2024. Also, they talk about the quarterback play. But as far as what you will bring to this Southern University offensive line, what are your strong points?
Reliable. I'm always available. You ain't worried about the quarterback getting hit.
In other words, you got his back.
That's good.
Yeah. You ain't gotta worry about him getting hurt or getting hit. Whoever the star quarterback gonna be, and just as a whole, as an O-line, I feel like we just connected. We're a family already. We only been around each other for like 3 weeks. So I feel like the chemistry already there.
Well, it's going to be interesting, guys, and I just have to ask this question. You win the week. Every game is important, the first one. But for you, September 14th, back in Jackson for that football game. I don't want to give you no bulletin board material, but I'm sure you're going to be excited to play that football game.
Yeah, it'd probably be the one I'd be the most hyped for. And we playing back at home. Yeah, I'm had a whole city out there.
Well, I've had the pleasure of coming to a mini Southern Jackson State game. It's the physicality, both fan base and the atmosphere. It's awesome. I'm gonna tell you. Yeah, it's no other atmosphere. What are you doing for the preparation for the upcoming season? I saw you guys on social media. With the conditioning, I saw preparing players for 40 or 50 yards or more. How is it for you guys?
Hold on, like you said one more time. He was breaking up.
Yeah, Carlos, your audio went out a little bit.
Your mic, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna have to invest in a new mic here, I guess.
Yeah.
The off-season conditioning. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Off-season condition. How has it been for you this upcoming season?
Oh, I mean, I done been through it 3 years in a row, so I'm kind of used to it. I was kind of used to it, but I feel like this team probably be the one of the best and strongest teams I've been on. And plus, it's a player-led team. You don't go in the weight room or going out there on the field while we condition and see coaches. You just see the strength and conditioning coaches. Every other team I've been on, it'd be a coach-led team. The coaches be every.
I think we may have lost him there.
Yeah, and Carlos, when you do get him back, if you get him back, what does he see the depth there? Does Courtney see the depth on the offensive line? Because last year that was one of the issues with the offensive line. So does he see the depth there this year?
Well, I was looking at the roster yesterday, and I counted 14 offensive linemen.
Wow.
Now, there we go. Courtney, we got you back. Coach Pettaway was talking about the depth.
I don't know what happened.
On the offensive line.
Courtney, do you see the depth for the offensive line? Do you all have depth this year?
Oh yes, sir. We got
okay.
we like 2-3 deep, and everybody can play. We got some size on the O-line too. We got some size on the O-line too. Everybody's strong.
Yeah, like I said before we lost you, I was looking at the got an update. We got 20 offensive linemen. Well,
20. Wow.
Well, and this is from a great source. I'll just put it that way. And I'm looking at that roster, and the roster I had was from SWAC Media Day. So it's not really, I guess, the official roster. When fall camp starts, a week or so afterwards, then you look at that roster. Then it'll be the official roster. But Courtney, we appreciate the time. Any closing comments you have for the Jaguar Nation?
Go Jags.
There you go. There you go. Enough said, Courtney. Enough said, my brother.
And guess what?
Y'all for having me.
Yeah, and Courtney, guess what? Boy, that Blue Chicken store, that's a selling point in itself. Unbelievable. The food, humidity.
Yes, sir.
Is it different
Yes, sir.
in Baton Rouge and Jackson? I'm just curious
Man,
about that.
I probably done gained about 15 pounds since I've been down here.
Wow. 15 good pounds, right, Courtney?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
On that note, much success in your first season with the Southern University football program. Welcome, and we appreciate your time here on the Carlos Brown Show.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
All right.
Good
Thank
luck,
you.
Courtney.
All right, thank you.
Well, Carlos, I will say Southern's pretty deep in offensive linemen. I interviewed our offensive coordinator the other day in the interviews out there. We got 18 offensive linemen. So I wonder, is that going to be the trend for the rest of these teams? I mean, you have 15, 16, 17 old linemen going into camp. And for Alcorn, camp starts on Monday. So I think it's going to be real interesting to see how much beef these teams have up front.
Well, go ahead, Coach Pettaway.
Carlos, I wanted to ask Charles' opinion. Hey, Charles, why do you think they pick Alcorn to finish number one?
In my estimation, I think that Cedric Thomas, being the former DC, being elevated as head coach, our defense was top 3 last year. So the transition from DC to head coach, I think some of the coaches, again, the committee is the coaches and the SIDs, saw that. And so I think that's kind of the story there is the reason why. Interesting, we don't have a quarterback from last year. Aaron Allen took us where we needed to go, but he's not there. No Agent Zero playing with the Packers right now. So on one hand, you're saying, but on the other hand, I think that's probably the reason why we were picked. We got a really tough schedule. 4 home games, that's it. At Southern, at Grambling, back-to-back weeks, that's going to be tough. But I think that's what the coaches saw when they try to pick Alcorn. A DC that was pretty good last year, taking over as head coach, seamless transition, because, when Fred McNair decided not to come back, Ted Thomas 3 hours later was named head coach. And so the seamless transition that we had, that's the only thing I can come up with, because you use the same criteria for Florida A&M and Colsey. They didn't. They weren't picked to win the East. They picked Alabama State. So I'm curious, just like everybody else. But if I had to guess, and I might be totally wrong, that's what I'm thinking. I might be off base on it. If I'm off base, I'm off base. But that's kind of the way I saw it.
Will, you see the expression on my face? Come on, Charles. Who are you trying to convince?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, what other?
I know.
Yeah, I mean, you look as Alcorn, and I'm Alcorn. I'm happy. Cedric Thomas is confused. Talked to him at media day. You scratching his head like, where'd that come from? He was even surprised. So, I mean, hey, I get that, but Coach Pettaway asked me the question, and I've been thinking about it. That's the only thing I come up with. And hey, I'm throwing something against the wall, and it might not stick, but that's the only thing I can come up with as far as that's concerned, because it is kind of a head scratcher if you're just looking at it from above the mountaintops.
Carlos, they just saved Coach Graves from the kiss of death.
No! Wait a minute.
He ought to be the happiest man in the SWAC.
Well, the pressure now immediately goes on to Coach Robinson and Coach Thomas, and so some people say they kind of like that position. Hey, pick 4th, no pressure at all. Although there is pressure, but it's gonna be interesting. I still say it's gonna be played on the field every Saturday and Friday and some Thursday nights. And you can come back and compare and contrast.
Yeah, I think Dr. Cable even mentioned to me at media day, it's time for Alabama State to elevate, and I think he's expecting Alabama State to be in that conversation for the Eastern Division. So I thought it would be Florida A&M by a nose. If I had to pick, I would have picked FAMU to win just barely. I'm not sure if Alabama State's ready for prime time. We'll see. You got Andrew Body, who might be the quarterback to start it out. We'll see. But I would have Florida A&M and just keeping that band together as best as they could.
I'm looking at some of the comments. Yeah, I would have thought Purview would have gotten the nod in the West, and FAMU in the East. So, with that being said, fall camp, FAMU's already started. Southern starts August the 1st. It's about that time, Wheeler. Former offensive lineman, I still say it's going to go down in the trenches. And also,
that's it.
I'm going to be back on the quarterbacks. I need a game manager. I need someone who can make the throws. I don't need anybody who thinks has to win the game for himself. I want to see a balanced offense. And Charles at Alcorn, who's going to get the first snap?
Tyler Macon.
Macon has a lot to prove to me. He's an athlete. Put it this way, his athleticism is his strong point. Allen, I thought Allen was the best quarterback on that team last year from the outside looking in. No ifs and buts about it. So quarterbacks in this league now, they're going to step up. Can they make the throw? Can they go through their progressions? Can they make the critical 3rd and 6? Can they put it in there? Can they look at the point of, I don't have to run first. I run second. When the play is not there and I need to make it with my legs, I can do it. Mm-hmm. That's just kind of some of my observations from a non-coaching perspective. Closing comments, Wheeler. We got to get out of here.
Don't put Coach Graves on the 2-year deal, Carlos.
Yeah.
Oh,
here
we go.
Don't put him on a 2-year deal. Keep him right where he is.
He's got a 3-year deal. He's got a 3-year deal.
You guys are going to get it done. It's going to be an interesting season, no doubt about that. And we'll see who rises to meet their expectations and who doesn't. So I think the merry-go-round is just getting ready to get started, Carlos.
And by the way, Dr. Cable kind of ran. I said, bullseye on your back, and he took off. True story. I think he said, Carlos, I know that.
Okay. Yeah. In closing, I just want to say I'm looking forward to see which are the first teams in the SWAC going to step up and add these scholarships. That's what I'm looking forward to.
Charles?
Braves camp starts Monday at 7:15. Buckle up, folks. I'm ready.
PM or AM?
AM. 7:15 a.m.
All right. All right.
Well, I'm going to go on the non-sports angle. Going to be quick. Vote. Also, Google Project 2025. I'm going to say that every week. That is something that we don't need. I like my freedom.
Mm-hmm.
I really do. And so I look at the point where we can agree to disagree and have that discussion. But if Project 2025 gets on board, a person like me and Wheeler, we'll be in serious trouble because we outspoken and opinionated.
Yes, indeed.
Coach Pettaway, opinionated. Charles, you're opinionated too, as well. So seriously, vote, and Google Project 2025. I want to thank all the guests, Brian Fulford, producing on today's show, and those in the chat room. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Saturday at 11 a.m. for another edition of the Carlos Brown Show right here on the Black College Sports Network. Until that time, peace and God bless. And Charles, I want to see a 280 game single game. We're out of here. Peace.
America.